I told them to leave, my demons depressed. They want me to die, they know I'm a threat. I have a few things to get off my chest. I've been in the darkness, not living the best. Searching for real, I wonder what's next. Pushing my limits, no time for the rest. It can get ugly, I'm willing to bet. Play the wrong cards, you end up in debt.
Hey, welcome to episode 2 of the Brothers Compass podcast. Today, we're joined again by First Sergeant retired Jon Flis, and we're focusing on mental health today. So, First Sergeant Flis, thank you for being back with us, man.
Yeah, no, super excited as always. Super fun. I got my buddy with me, so
Awesome. Well, yeah, man. So, I think this is a really timely episode because you and I both lost a Ranger brother this week, and so it just so happens to kind of coincide with our planned mental health episode. So this is perfect timing because everything's raw and real right now, and so we're just gonna address it.
yeah. No, I think we both kind of see Dave in the same light. You know, Dave Steinbach was just a monster of a man. Just, you know, he was really a giant teddy bear, but the giantness, you had to get past that fear up front before, you know, you saw the teddy bear. But he was a great guy, incredible leader, incredible person to kind of look up to and reach out to every so often when you needed him, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And he was one that was always, you know, there, always willing to be there for the guys. My first experience with him, I was a private, I was a young Ranger private, and he had gone hunting there on Benning, and when he was gutting the deer that he got, he sliced his finger pretty good, and so he called in one of the medics, and so I come walking in, you know, I'm brand new, and Dave's sitting there getting his finger stitched up, you know, in the AO, and so that was you know, kind of my first experience with him, and just thinking this dude is humongous and terrifying, and I'm gonna stay far away from him, and you know.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, you know, you know, a couple deployments, and I'm an E5, and then he and I are buddy running together through the streets and stuff. So, incredible guy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I knew him as well to as an attachment, you know, like kind of that's where we both kind of deployed together and all that stuff, and we were working for him. And yeah, no, it was great. He was incredibly welcoming to attachments, so it was
Oh, absolutely.
great experience.
Yeah.
So he was just such a great guy. I mean, you know, we kind of talked about some of our stories about him earlier, and I just think one of the best ones. You know, he was such a good leader and a good person. You know, he tried to integrate me into the platoon to the best of his ability, the best of the. I mean, so welcoming for an attachment. I mean, I don't think he would start his daily meetings until he beat me in pocket tanks, and to say he beat me is, I might have let him so we could get the meeting going and go about our day. But but you know, we played pocket tanks every day. He couldn't wait. I'd come in. He'd start making me come in earlier. Like, hey, dude, you gotta get here earlier so we get more games in. And I'd get in and just kind of hang out with the boys from 3 Charlie. So that was pretty awesome. It was good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he was a great dude, and that deployment specifically it's one that that replays in my mind a lot. That was a great trip, a great deployment, and
We were busy.
we were very busy. We were very busy, and
That was when I started to hate the sound of the pager.
oh, well, because it went off all the time. Yeah, it went off all the time, and you were attached to 3rd Platoon,
Right.
but I was the only guy. I was the only TSE guy there at the time, so I was supporting 2 platoons. So
Right.
one night I'd go out with 3rd Platoon, one night I'd go out with 2nd Platoon, which was my old platoon. So that was cool, like being there with those guys. But there was an interesting way, like the differences the platoons operated. Like 2nd Platoon, I'd have to like kind of be far back in the movement, you know, and then they'd bring me forward later on to do that piece. And then with 3rd Platoon, though, as soon as we dismounted, you know, whether, you know, helos or strikers, Dave was looking for me, like, get TSE up here. And like
Yeah.
he and I would, and E7 is pulling security for an E5, walking through the streets. And it was just, it was such a cool thing to me, like
Yeah.
it was a neat bonding thing. I remember one night we're walking through the streets and I couldn't really figure out like which, where we needed to go. And
Yeah.
so Dave is like, he's like, why don't you just climb that wall? And there's this giant wall, and I was like, well, let's climb it. And there's like, the way the wall was built, there was bricks sticking out about this far, like
So
every so often.
you weren't the first one to climb it.
Yeah. So Dave and I are like, fingertip climbing this wall, with
Yeah.
100 pounds of stuff on, like, ugh. And anyway, that's a core memory for me. And we
Yeah.
found out where we needed to go and made it work. So
Yeah. I also remember, to show, keep that spirit alive, right? Like, he just sent it. Like, everything he did was just like, I'm all in. I'm like, let's do this.
yeah,
And he's like, I trust you guys because that's your job. So let's do it. Like, we were looking for one guy and he had a whole bunch of things on like different hard drives and computer stuff. And the guy hid it in the courtyard. And I had just taught Rex how to do like article searches. So we were, instead of like Ranger on their hands and knees searching for the stuff, I was like, well, let's send the dog out there. So we cleared the courtyard and he's standing there. So Rex goes over and he finds this, he finds the spot and he sits at it. And I'm like, sweet, he found what we're looking for. And I think it was the FSNCO or the JTAC, whoever was with us, was like, well, how do you know it's not a bomb? And I'm like, oh, well, Rex it's different. It's different attitude. It's different body. He's like, well, I'm not going over there. And I'm like, well, I before we can say anything, Dave finds a shovel, just goes over and just sticks it in the ground and starts shoveling the dirt out. And he's like, I got you. And I'm like, dude.
I got you.
But he's like, he trusted us so much. Like the trust he had in the attachments and his own squad leaders, team leader. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better than that. Like, he trusted everybody so much to do their job.
Right. He really did. I was going to say that too, is it was interesting because you didn't often see that in an E7,
Mm-mm.
to an E5,
No.
trusting their judgment and going, you've been specially trained to do this. I trust you. But he did, man. He truly allowed the assets to be what we were.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was pretty empowering. And it really let us, as younger enlisted guys, kind of spread our wings and get a feel for what leadership felt like.
Yeah. The leadership, or just how to manage manage the egos.
Absolutely.
Because there are so many different heads that were clashing, so many different people, so much testosterone in one place.
Yeah.
For us, So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. He, such a good guy, man. Such a good guy. And, my wife was asking me, why does this one hit so hard? Losing Dave and because I don't even know how many brothers that we've lost. I mean, I know that
well,
you've probably seen way too many go, more than you care to see go.
yeah. I mean, this year alone, it's been this might be the 5th suicide, this year.
Yeah, and it's just too many.
Yeah.
It's just too many, and they all hit, to different varying degrees, especially like, how deeply you knew the person and how closely you had worked with them and whatnot. But I think Dave specifically, like, this one hits not just us personally, but it hits the community. It hits the special operations community, it hits the regiment. It kind of I feel like it sent a shockwave through it, because Dave was that type of leader that was so well known and so well respected and so excellent at everything he did. That losing a guy like that, like, he's the guy who got out and is still checking on his buddies, still checking on young Rangers, going, hey, how are you doing? How's your mental health? Make sure that I don't show up to your funeral,
Yeah.
like, saying those hard things and holding people accountable. And then ultimately he's the one, he loses the battle. And That's what makes it so difficult, I think.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It it's always the ones that you don't expect that probably have the biggest weight they're carrying, right? Like, Robin Williams, great example, right? Everybody sees him as this happy-go-lucky guy, and then, he loses those demons. Maybe those that knew him outside of the behind the screen, had a different story, but like, that's the kind of person you don't you don't expect to have happen, right? Dave
Right.
was that guy. Like, he didn't have his stuff together. He was going through stuff. There was some trials, some tribulations, some waves he had to get through. But you're like, oh, he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Just check on him. He tells you he's fine. He's seeking help. He's being public about the stuff he's going through, so he's putting it out there. So he's got support. He's got a network. Everything's going to be fine. He's just got to get through it. And then you see something like that. That next post that comes up from family members and from people that knew him better than we did that started saying like, "Hey, man, he's the giant's fallen." You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a heavy one, man. A really, really heavy one. And, each time this happens, it kind of causes you to reflect, like you start looking inward, going you understand more intimately how you can become that, how that can become you very quickly.
Yeah,
And I think I said it to you earlier before we started recording, but like you're only as strong as your weakest moment. So this is why it's so vitally important to not just rely on the good moments and go, well, life is good most of the time. We can't trust that. We can't rely on that. We have to be very intentional about doing some inner work and like making sure that those weak moments are stronger than your last weak moment, um,
yeah,
kind of building yourself back up.
yeah. I I think it's really difficult to know where rock bottom is sometimes
Yeah.
and when you have to come back up. Um, you know, for Dave, I think he was at it, and and it was the worst place he thought he could possibly be in, and it's really hard to do when you've been at the worst place you could be in, and you think you're out of it, and then all of a sudden now you're back even lower than you were before.
Right.
But it's how you manage to work out of it. And I think you made a great point too. It's hard for us to step back and realize that's the place we're in.
Oh, dude, absolutely right, man. It's really difficult. I actually talked to Jill Stevenson this morning,
Yeah,
um, about that very thing that you have to, there's uh, varying reasons, how you end up in that place, but there's also an air of confusion to it because you don't really realize what's happening to you.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't know that you're maybe spiraling. You don't know that you're, that close to the edge. Like I remember just being confused. Like I didn't know what was happening to me. I just thought, man, I feel awful. Like
Yeah.
I was super cool. Like I used to do super cool stuff. And then like now I'm nobody and nothing and no one cares. And I dare not reach out to any of my ranger buddies because they're just gonna think I'm weak, or they're just gonna think that, they're gonna be so disappointed that I'm struggling, you
Right,
know?
right.
Um, and that was a big fear.
Well, and I'll jump in and throw some of my personal mess out there. I kind of was at that point. In the last episode we talked about this great plan of attack and how you're going to go through all this stuff and you're going to go through it and things are going to be great. Everything's going to be perfect. Well, it's not.
It's
'Cause
not.
at some point, it hits you, right? And my downfall or my lowest point to date was basically uh, earlier this spring being on the bathroom floor, physically sick, just uncontrollable, hyperventilating, can't breathe, heart's pounding, just full on bawling my eyes out on the floor, uncontrollable. My wife's there. She called a buddy of mine that I've grown up with, I've known for 35 years. I mean, you know, they can't do anything about it. Next thing I know, when I finally realize where I'm at and what's coming to, There's like 3 paramedics, a police officer in the house, and they're picking me up off the floor, and they're like, we're going to the hospital."
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
that, like, all of a sudden I came to sitting in the ambulance going like, "How did I get here? Like, when
Yeah.
did this go from I'm perfectly fine to dude, like, it's heavy." Um,
Yeah.
and saving grace is, the people around me, right?
Yep.
Um, they made the call. They just kind of were like, you're going to the hospital and we're going to figure out what's wrong or like what we can do for you, but
Yeah.
you can't be here and we're going. Um,
Yeah.
and that was a rough time sitting there in the hospital. The thoughts of all those things like, dude, did I, did I just fail every other brother? Did I just fail my family? Did I just, and those are those down points that nobody wants to talk about. It's not what gets you there, it's what happens once you realize you're there
Right.
that become the heaviest points.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's why I think we talked about this a little bit in the last episode. This is why it's so important that you surround yourself with the right people,
Mhm.
because at some point the breakdown will happen. Like at some point it happens to all of us. And because I mean, I can't speak for you or anyone else really, but like I know that I personally am terrified of the sheer vulnerability that is required to face some of these things, um, for fear of judgment, fear of inadequacy, fear of whatever, label it whatever it is. But at the end of the day, like I'm terrified of the vulnerability required. I'm even embarrassed
Oh,
to share the deepest recesses of myself with my wife,
yeah.
for fear of judgment or fear of all the things. Um, but I think that there's beauty in that, because when I had a breakdown a couple of years ago, similar, and it was like I just felt it building and building and building inside, and I was just like, I don't know what's happening, and I'm like washing dishes. This is happening while I'm washing
Yeah.
dishes, and I'm just like scrubbing the snot out of these dishes,
They were
and
clean.
yeah, it was very clean, but I remember my wife like recognizing that something was wrong, and she goes, "Stop, you need to stop," and finally she just like wrapped me up. Um, and that's like that led to the breakdown, because like I was forced to like stop, and then I just lost it. Um, but there was this raw beauty to that, because for the first time in I don't even know how many years, like I felt seen and not judged. Like I felt so loved that she was there in that moment with me, and gave me love instead of judgment.
Yeah. I
So
that's a brilliant point, and I just want to highlight that it's when you're at that point of at the worst spot you think you could possibly be in, and that everybody's going to turn on you and you've just alienated yourself from everyone or everything, it's the exact opposite that happens.
right, right. The thing you're afraid of is mostly just up here.
All
It-
in your mind.
It's all in your head.
It's habit built, not facts.
Right. Right. And a lot of it too, for a lot of guys, man, a lot of it stems all the way back to childhood, not just your military training or any of the PTSD from that. A lot of it comes from childhood too. Like you're predisposed to think that, that X, Y, and Z is going to happen if I show the real me.
Yeah.
And that's most of the time not true.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, and like for me, there was that, um, I spent 24 hours, a little over 24 hours, sitting in the room. They and here's the downfall in the systems, right? So the hospital didn't want to touch me because I was a veteran with VA stuff. The VA didn't want to touch me because they were going to have to transport me to another hospital an hour and a half away, and they didn't think I was in a bad enough state based off of what the social worker said. So
Okay.
they left me in basically purgatory until I was finally like, what? what are we doing here? And they're like, oh, well, we're just trying to figure out what we're going to deal with you, or how we're going to deal with you. So then it
Wow.
turned into a battle of, how do I get out of the, and no offense, because I was in there, but like, how do I get out of the loony bin,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like, to save myself, to restart the building process, because I knew that was it. I'm like, this is rock bottom. There's no place else to go. I'm already seeing counselors. I'm on meds. I'm on all this other stuff. There's nothing else anybody's going to do for me unless, what, take me away someplace no, what I want, and I know what's going to help me, is being with my family. So how do I get out of here, and how do I start again? You know, my number one fan, my number one person is my wife. And then there's my kids. And it's like, I need them so that I can lean on them to be who I want to be and figure this out.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's almost like you were punished for
Yeah.
trying to go get help,
Right. And
which is wild.
that was the craziest thing. Cause I was like, okay, so, we tilt back and forth on this all we want, but I mean, it was seriously sad to be told, well, you're not bad enough.
You're not messed
You're
up
not,
enough,
yeah, you're
John.
there, but you didn't say anything about killing yourself or hurting anybody else. So that's not the trigger. You didn't say the trigger we were looking
You
for.
didn't say a special word, John.
Yeah.
So
So
you don't get the help you need.
we're not going to get you anything. And then the other place going, well, I don't know if your insurance is going to cover this because it's VA and we're not a VA hospital. So,
Yeah.
and that was like, that was another big wake up point. Like, okay, well, what are we doing here, Harry?
Right.
Like,
Right. And dude, that problem is so massive. It's so massive.
yeah,
It's it's why people don't go get help. It's why people don't seek help from the VA, because it's unhelpful. It's not helpful.
right.
Um, to
It's, check the block training. That's kind of what it is. I mean,
Absolutely.
there
Right.
are good people at the VA. I don't
There
take me
are.
wrong. And there's great programs in it. I think, if you can find the right people, find the right match for you, it's helpful. It's a great place to start, but it's not going to take you all the way to the finish line.
Absolutely. Dude, I think that's a great point, man. Because the VA, like, and I'll say this openly, honestly, like, I credit the VA for saving my life, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was in a very deep, dark place, and it took a trusted person to come into my life, and it was my dad. My dad's a veteran, and my dad came to me and was like, "Hey, dude, it's time to get some help. Like, you're not okay. It's time to get help." So he makes me go to the VA. Um, and I fill out the paperwork. I'm like getting in the system for the first time, and like I hand it over to the guy, and he goes, "Okay, everything looks good. We'll see you in about 3 months."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and dude, I'm not kidding. Like, I leaned over the desk. Like, when he said 3 months, like, I felt my heart just drop into my stomach. Because I was just in a place of desperation.
Yeah.
Of feeling the way I was feeling, and not knowing what to do about it, or how to make it better. Um, so I leaned over the desk, and like my eyes are like filling up with tears, and I lean over the desk and go, "Dude, I can't go one more day feeling like this." And he goes, "Roger that." And he takes me straight upstairs to mental health, and I left that day with medicine. Of course, they're gonna
Yeah.
throw
Of
medicine
course.
at you,
Yep.
but I took the medicine, and it saved my life. Right? Like,
Yeah.
I was able to start climbing out of the hole, and knowing full well that I don't want to be on medicine for the rest of my life. But it was a starting spot. Like you said, it was a great starting spot, to start digging my way out of that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was this sort of, I got out, I moved up here, and immediately, I was going through the process of still filing my claims. Cause if you haven't watched the first episode, go back and watch that one. Okay.
Nice
But
plug.
yeah, I try. I got a marketing degree. It's on the wall. I don't use it, but
You just did.
uh,
$68,000 well spent.
yeah. Thanks, government. Um, but but go back and watch that last one, because it kind of gives you my story about how I kind of got out early, and then I was going through all my claims and all that stuff through the VA to find other doctors to do their bless off on whatever I had to get my disability ratings and all that other stuff. So I kind of was into the VA, and because of my rating, they immediately already had my information and just kind of reached out and were like, "Hey, we're starting appointments for you. This is what you blah blah blah." And I got hooked up through that pretty easily, all at the same time as transitioning out. So that was great. So I'm in there getting physical therapy, got my sweet hearing aids, I've got, all the fun stuff, and then started seeing counseling, and then the counselor led to, you know, uh, you're jacked up. There's some stuff in there that we need to fix. So let's
Right.
start doing some cognitive processing therapy,
Yep.
which that in the end is what led to the overall breakdown. Because like the first thing you have to do is they just dig,
Yep.
and they want you to put everything down. And you have like I have this list. They're like, okay, fill out this list of all the negative stuff you do, right? And or you do to yourself. And my list was like a book. And
Right.
she's like, "Oh, okay. let's let's start to unpack this." And then at that point, the gates were open.
Yep.
Because I didn't have any stopping point yet. And I was on meds at the time, but I was just starting. So like the doses of meds weren't they're not strong, and I'm not a big med guy in the first place. I'm like you,
Right.
like there's got to be a better. I don't want a band-aid. I want to fix it.
Yes. Yes. I want to fix it.
Um,
Um,
but yeah, so that the VA process is good. It's okay, but it's not your end all be all. Have another
absolutely,
doctor.
man.
Have somebody
Yes.
else to go see. And I kind of was seeing my own counselor outside of the military to get like a real world perspective on my life,
Right.
and then somebody that was showing me a perspective of the military side, right?
Yeah. Dude, I think that's a great point, man. Is the VA is a wonderful launching point, and it is helpful, but it can only carry you so far. Like you're only gonna get as far in your healing journey as you take yourself.
Yeah.
Like I, I'm
Take
really tired of the veteran, like, victim mentality.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a victim because the VA doesn't just totally heal me. Like, they can't. They they can only do so much. Your doctor can only do so much. Your therapist can only do so much. You have to
Politics can
be
only do so much.
exactly. Like, at some point, you have to become accountable to yourself and go, "I'm the only one responsible for carrying through following through this treatment plan or following through with this CBT or
Yeah.
whatever therapy you're choosing. Like I'm the one that has to do the work, and yeah, and do that. There's a boatload of stuff there that my mind is going to.
Oh,
Like you said, I love what you said earlier about like how they make you dig stuff up. Like
yeah.
that's the first part, and and I would say the counselor that I was using, she's wonderful. She's based in Texas, and I can't see her anymore because I'm in Michigan now.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, but she was wonderful, and she was a lot more gentle. Instead of saying, "Hey, write down everything," she said, write
Yeah.
down one traumatic thing, just one." You
Yeah.
know, and I didn't even believe it to be traumatic. She just said, "Tell me a war story."
Yeah.
Tell me a war story. The first time that you were in a gunfight or something. And I told her the first gunfight I was ever in, and how it went, how it ended, and what I did, and all the things. And I did not believe it to be traumatic at all,
Mm-mm.
you know, until, we start unpacking it. And like you said, that doing it one time kind of opens the floodgate, and then it becomes kind of a danger area, of like, this is why people don't do it because
Right.
they're terrified of opening that Pandora's box.
Well, and that's the interesting perspective of CPT. And again, I loved it. I think, the counselor that I was seeing, I still am seeing, phenomenal. Um, she's perfect for me because it is like, she holds nothing back. It is straight to the point. Like,
Yeah.
you're an idiot, right? Like, okay, yeah, I see your
Yeah.
point, right?
Yeah. Excellent point.
Yeah, because I need the 2x4 to the forehead to notice anything. But CPT, you know, they don't teach you how to handle it when it comes out until later, right? Like
Right.
they teach you like Let's dig all this up. Let's throw it all out there. Let's put it on the table, and then we'll start to break it down. Well,
Right.
there was a gap there, like, a week or 4 days or whatever it may be. That like
Right.
that's a long 4 days of dealing with that.
That's a long time to be trapped in your own head. Like it's a long time.
Yeah,
Uh, and one of the things that the counselor I'm seeing now, the one thing that she focuses on a lot is cognitive reframing.
yeah,
So when those negative thoughts do start coming up, because I think, dude, it's so common. We all do that. Like we have this terrible negative inner dialogue, and we tell ourselves like what a piece of garbage we are
yeah.
all the time over everything, over every little minor failure, or I didn't get the laundry folded today. So it's like, oh, I'm such a failure. Like I
Yeah,
suck at everything. And it just becomes
yeah.
this spiral. And it frustrates my wife, because she's like, why do you spiral so bad over like the tiniest thing?
Are,
And I'm like, I don't
are we
know.
are we the same person?
Yeah. And so anyway, so the counselor, she worked with me a lot on cognitive reframing, that even when a negative thought pops up, you say to yourself the opposite of that thought.
Yeah,
Like, you kind of reframe it. And the more
yeah.
you do it, it becomes habit.
Right. Well, that's mine. I mean, it's the same process, right? She brought up a good point. She's like, take it to trial, right?
Oh, I like that.
So you've got your negative thought or whatever you're doing or whatever it is. Take it to trial. And me, I'm a slight humorous person. I like to make jokes, probably at the
Would
worst
have,
times, but
would have never
I like
guessed that.
but I like to put I like to put light on it, right? So I take it seriously when I take it to court, and my prosecution, like it's like what is that? To Kill a Mockingbird? It's like an old courtroom. Everybody's sweating, wearing suits. I got Colonel Sanders as the prosecution, and then there's my defense attorney, right? So it's Mr. Fliss, you are a dumb dude. You are an idiot. How did you not fold the laundry by the time your wife got home? And that's the negative stuff, right?
Right.
And this is all going on in my head because I'm a Looney Tune. And
I love this, dude.
but it immediately, when Colonel Sanders starts talking in my head, it makes me stop and go, okay, this is this is the spiral. This is where it
Yeah.
goes, right?
Yeah.
And
You
then
say,
and
no, Colonel Sanders. You,
yeah,
you wrong. Mama's right.
it's the medulla oblongata. But yeah, I mean, and that's what happens. And then the defense attorney stands up, and he's kind of looks like Clark Kent in my mind, all sophisticated and jacked, and he's like, nah, man, here's the truth, dude. You didn't fold the laundry, but you cut the grass, you put the dishes away, you did this, you did that. Oh, and by the way, you got 20 minutes to sit down and play a video game and have some
Yeah.
time for you, right? Like
Yeah.
that's important. You need that stuff. The laundry, guess what? That basket's going to be filled tomorrow because your kids are going to change like 12 times in 5 minutes. So
Yes.
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I love that, man. I
yeah.
love that.
But just
And
take
that's,
it to court because you've got your habit, right? Your habit is that negative thought. That negative process is coming in, and that's all pure habit. It's
yeah.
emotional charge by habit.
Yeah.
And then you have to put the facts out on paper.
I love it, man.
So take it to court.
Take it to court. I like that a lot, man. That's I think when we first talked on the phone, you had shared that with me, and I was like, dude, that's so smart. I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to catch it at first. Like it's hard to catch those negative thoughts when they're coming in because you're just so used to it.
Yeah.
Um, and you actually believe those things about yourself.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult to catch. But she even gave me some printouts, that I've kind of, filled out and, asked, you ask yourself questions um and it's difficult to do. I think especially for like, I don't know, guys like us or just military people in general, because we look at that stuff and we go, that's really silly. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's so dumb. That's like the
Yeah.
kindergartner can do that,
Yeah.
Yet we don't do it.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly valuable.
Yeah. And that's like, I got crazy anxiety stuff too. Like I always feel pressured, like I'm late, like I'm not going to be 10 minutes prior to the 10 minutes prior. So I start to get crazy anxiety and stuff.
Yeah.
And the other thing is more, I don't know if you want to call them grounding exercises or not, but when I start getting myself all angst up and all crazy, it's like, stop, dude. You got to like 5 things I can see, 3 things I can smell. What do I hear? You know, that kind of stuff. And it just all of a sudden slows you down and helps bring you back into the perspective of it's not that bad, dude.
Yeah.
You can be
Yeah.
5 minutes late to the kid's baseball game. It's okay.
Yeah. Dude,
Like,
I love that. I love it because that's something that I use, but I go back to the Ranger handbook and
yeah,
I make myself conduct sills,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like
That's the same thing.
stop,
Yeah,
stop, look, listen, and smell.
yeah,
And it reorients you. Like it brings
yeah.
you back around.
That's also helped me a lot with my memory too. So like, if I try to pre-program the coffee at night so that it's already brewing, so when I get up in the morning, I just fall down the stairs and then drink my coffee. Um, and when I'm laying in bed, it's always like, oh, did I lock the doors? Did I put the alarm on? Did I make the coffee and all that stuff? So while I'm doing things, I try to take that time to soak it in and go, yep, I can smell the coffee right now. I've
Yeah.
done that. I've touched the door. I know that's locked. And I'll say stuff out loud too.
Doors open. You can go inside.
It helps me
Oh,
with
sorry.
memory. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. That's really good stuff. I also love a great cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. You're
to
welcome.
this day, I still do. Uh, what were we
Yeah.
drinking? We drank mostly K cups that deployment. I think
I
K
think,
cups were becoming a
I think that
thing.
was the thing right then and there. Yeah. Well, I know, oh man, it was Johnson and myself living in the kennel,
Yep,
and we had our own coffee pot, and we got hooked on Deadwood. We were watching
Deadwood.
Deadwood
Oh, the
nonstop,
show. Yeah,
the show Deadwood, and all they were doing was drinking coffee, and we just had a pot nonstop, and like it got so bad that like I remember Johnson was like, "Dude, we have to get rid of this coffee pot." He's like, "I am so jittery right now."
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man, Johnson. I don't. I wonder what he's up to now, man. I haven't seen or heard
I
from him.
yeah I know him and Diana got married and had some kids, and it's about the last I heard. So
And he was such a cool dude, man.
just chill, everything.
Yeah,
I only
dude.
saw him get
So
mad once.
I saw him get mad once. It was right after we graduated Ranger School, and we got left behind. Like we were like excited to graduate Ranger School because like everybody had just deployed, and we're like, yes, we're gonna graduate, and like we're gonna be
Yeah,
overseas with the boys in like 2 weeks. And as soon as we graduate, we come back to the company, and they're like, hey, you're getting left behind. You're gonna go to WLC, and like dude, oh, we were so angry. So angry. I'm still
yeah,
bitter about that, by the way.
yeah.
Whoever's watching in my old chain of command, I'm still mad at you.
Oh,
Uh,
um,
but yeah.
yeah. We
Um,
digress. But
yeah,
take
yeah,
ownership. I think absolutely we got to take ownership in everything we
yeah.
do, and that kind of
Accountability
goes.
to yourself.
Yeah, and it's not just you; it's the other people around you, right? So we talk about how people lift you up, and you've got people around you, but you know, when you make that decision to do the thing, and take your life, you know, the weight that's left behind you, it's ridiculous.
Oh,
Um, the the pain, the amount of mental anguish you now put somebody else into, right? Because now well, I failed. I didn't do what I needed to do for you. I didn't provide you
yeah.
enough. Um, I think that's the real that's the realism of it.
Right. Um, I read a post from another guy that knew Dave, and it was like this raw post of him just like being truly upset and angry, you know, and he said something that has stuck with me. Um, he said something along the lines of stop, stop giving us more weight to carry.
Yeah,
And and when you think about it, like I think in visual terms, like I'm a visual thinker, and so I think of somebody falling out on a road march.
you
You
got to
know,
carry their ruck.
now I got to pick up their ruck and carry it too. Like
Mm.
not just mine, but now I've got their giant rucksack on the front of me, trying my best to struggle and keep up. And now I'm pissed at that guy for falling out. Like he should have known better. He should have hydrated better. He should have,
Yeah,
done whatever he needed to do, but he didn't, and now I'm carrying his weight. And so it's the same thing. Like if they make that choice and they leave and they take their own life, the weight that you were carrying doesn't disappear because you're gone. You've now let everybody else in your inner circle, in the circle of people that knew you, now they're carrying the weight that you were carrying,
Hmm.
you know? It's man, it just really sucks. It's really unfair, and um I hate that we even have to talk about it. I hate that it's even a
Yeah.
thing that we have to discuss and
And
talk about.
and again, I think in your little snippet that you put on, the other day about this, your just initial raw stuff. I think you absolutely nailed it. Um, have to take ownership for yourself, and you have to be honest, right?
Yeah.
These guys are looking to help you. People are out there to help you. If you lie and
Yep.
then tell everybody everything's just peachy keen and everything's fine, then like, man, that's worse. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I I think we kind of took almost an oath. I'm never going to lie to another ranger.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you have to own that still.
And it's incredibly difficult to do, because when it depends on what kind of mood you're in, like if
Yeah,
you call me and I'm not feeling like being vulnerable, and you go, "Hey dude, how are you really doing? Like how's your mental health?" and you're asking me hard questions, I may not want to talk about it in that moment, and I could just
yeah,
blow you off,
yeah.
you know?
It just shuts
And
shuts you down.
yeah, it's really difficult. So I think that's a commitment that you have to make to yourself, to be accountable
Mhm.
and go, when someone is trying to hold me accountable, I'm now accountable to be honest with them.
Right.
You know, it's it's super hard,
Yeah,
but
and I absolutely I get that. But it's like, hey man, you told me today we were going for a PR on bench, so let's go for a PR on bench. It's the
right.
same mindset. Even though you're like, man, but I just did chest yesterday. Yeah, but you told us we're doing this, so you have to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the ownership that we need to take at it. It's no
Oh
different.
man. Absolutely. And it boils it 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 boils down to not just being accountable with being honest with someone who's checking in on you. It's being accountable to yourself in everything, to become the
Yeah.
person that is accountable to yourself. So like if I say to myself, I'm going to hit the gym at 3 p.m. and 3 p.m. comes and I don't do it, and I make some excuse like, "Oh, I'd rather just eat a PB and J and sit on
Yeah.
the couch."
Yeah.
That is going to knock my self-esteem, and it's also going to affect my inner narrative that I tell myself. Like, I said I was going to do this at 3 o'clock and I didn't because I'm a piece of garbage, you know? And you're going to start spiraling because you're lying to yourself. Like you can't even hold yourself accountable. And so it boils down to being that type of person that, hey, I'm going to do the things that I said I'm going to do.
Yeah. Which,
So
I think here's another great shameless plug. I mean, it goes back to your compass.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, I think we kind of talked about this before, where your compass is it's that Jack Sparrow compass. Like, who do I want to be? What do I want to do? Where's it going to take me? And is this decision going to help me get to where I want to go?
right,
Or is it going to pull me off course? And if it pulls me off course, can I get back on course?
right, right. Yeah, man. And this is why, the compass, I need to finish up the graphic so I can
Yeah.
share it and it can be a shareable thing. Um, because it's just kind of raw right now. But the compass in and of itself, like there's a couple parts of it that are self-discovery. Like you have to discover these parts of yourself before you can apply the rest of it. And so it's committing to that process. It's committing to going, I've got to discover who I am. And now I got to discover where I'm going. I've got to be um, resilient. How do I bounce back when life sucks? When I lose a ranger buddy because he killed himself? Um, and then who am I walking with? Like who am I accountable to? Who's in my circle that I'm going to allow to ask me those hard questions?
Right.
You know,
Yeah, and that, it's I kind of look at it like, you have to endure the storm. You have to endure some of those hard things if you want to conquer and win.
Right.
So you're gonna hit the rough patches. How do I stay on track? For me, 99% of the time right now, it's leaning on those people, and it's the
Right.
right connections. There's people that I'm, not necessarily just getting rid of out of my life altogether, but there's people that aren't hearing from me as much as, some other people are,
Right.
because that's not good for me right now in this journey where I'm at.
Right. Dude, absolutely. And you already know who those people are. Like, you know, the ones that are good for you, that are gonna push you, and they're gonna, like, encourage you and go, "Hey, John, you can do this, man." And then you also know those ones that tend to go to the negative side of things and, like, maybe wallow in
Right.
self-pity a little more,
Yeah.
or maybe self-medicate a little more.
Yeah.
And you gotta set up boundaries for yourself, like, "Hey, dude, I love you, and yes, we served together, and yes, we did some awesome stuff together, but I can't be around you too much right now because I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to grow myself and heal,
Yeah.
you know? And so the healing journey is so much more important than maintaining kind of a bad relationship. Because
Yeah.
once you heal, you can come back and then kind of scoop up those guys that are like, you know, kind of tossed to the left and the right, like, hey, this dude's still struggling. He needs help. And I'm in a much better place because I committed to healing. Now I
Right.
can come back and help this guy. So that's it's a difficult thing to do, to go, hey, I'm going to cut you off a little bit, but I have to because I'm trying to heal.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Um,
I think that's kind of, tying back into some of these like other organizations that are out there. You've got like your VFWs, your American Legions, um, different VA, like RWB, all this other stuff. Is it puts guys with like-minded people, which is good. But
can be.
if those like-minded people aren't uh, open, and they're not honest with themselves, and they're not being the right people in the best space, then maybe those shouldn't be the people you're with.
Right. Right. Absolutely, man. And it does, like, it kind of ties back to our last episode where we're talking about, we not living in the past. Like, if you go to
Yeah.
the VFW, there's a VFW within walking distance of my house. And a lot of times when I go in there, it's it's older guys just reliving the glory days.
Yeah.
And,
It's
like,
sitting around
man,
the canteen drinking and figuring out who's going to win the Powerball, and that's about it.
right. And it's like, man, you can't live in that space.
No.
Like, you cannot take one neat experience of your life and go, hey, this is my entire life's going to be built, around this thing, and I'm going to constantly live in the glory days. Um, you can't. You have to move past it and go, that was just a piece of me. That was just one little chapter, and there's more to accomplish. There's more to do.
And I'm not trying to badmouth any of these organizations. I think they're
Of
great. I think
course.
there's amazing things out there that they do. Great stuff for the community. Great stuff for individuals. Again, it goes back to those stepping stones for who you are and what you want to get yourself into, and it's a chance for you to grow.
Right.
Uh, in growth, it's not straight. There's ups, downs. There's backpedaling. There's
Yep.
forward movement.
Peaks and valleys.
Yeah. I'll bring him up. I'm a huge cycling guy, but Lance Armstrong, right?
Yep.
The guy goes from fame to failure super fast based off of his past, and really hurt a lot of people and all this stuff. But he's got a new venture out there. It's called We Do, and his signal is an arrow that is not pointing straight. It's like a
Love
zigzag,
it.
because he's like, you know what? I want to press forward, but forward is not always straight. It's not always a straight path.
That's right.
And I think that's what a lot of guys, you know, get out and think it's just going to be, we talked about it last time, right? Like, I'm this high ranking dude. I'm sought after. Everybody's going to want me, and I'm going to be this
Yeah.
incredible leader in the business world. And then they get out and they realize, like, ooh, nobody really wants me. And then it spirals you into this this peace, this darkness that you go into, and
Right.
there is no easy way out.
No, there's definitely not. No easy way out. The only way through it is through it. And
Yeah,
you just have to be
it's
committed to it.
it's swamp phase.
Exactly right.
It's swamp
Exactly
phase.
right. You just have to get through it.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, there is no other way.
and I
And
and there's definitely, you know, the best things you can do is kind of, I think, where we've kind of been talking about is, you know, and I keep going back to your compass, so I, you know, get it done. Because I love what I've seen so far on
yeah,
it,
yeah.
right? Like, you know, and I think you've got pieces in the right place, and it kind of pulls together. But you have to find your purpose,
Yep.
and again, it goes back to what you were talking about the other day about like refining who you are. It's okay
Yeah.
to sit there and go, all right, before I joined the military, I loved playing soccer and I loved watching football and I loved, you know, going to TGI Fridays on Saturday because it's funny, right?
Right. Right.
And and so, you know what? I'm gonna find an adult soccer league I can get into. I'm gonna go try and kick a soccer ball around a little bit.
Yep.
Maybe it's hard for me to do because I don't move like I used to, but you know, neither do these other old farts I'm with. But
Right.
go back some steps to try to refine what you like. And through that
Absolutely.
through that process of refining, you know what? I don't like playing soccer anymore, but watching it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
how can I get involved with, you know, some local some sports or whatever it may be, you know? Or hey, you know what? I did learn that I like camping out in the woods, but I want to do it on my terms, not army terms. And
Right. Right.
I'm gonna actually bring a jacket that I'm allowed to wear.
That I'm allowed to wear. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go camp. You know what I mean? So it's like finding
Yeah.
your purpose and your identity of what you really like. Go backwards. Start from the
Absolutely.
beginning.
Dude, that's so wise, man. Um, and it's simple, yet it's really profound because what I had to go to counseling to figure that out. I had to go to a
Oh yeah,
counselor
it's
to
not my
tell me,
idea.
yeah, like, um, she said, "What do you do for fun?"
What?
You know? And I'm like, "I'm here to talk about problems. I don't have fun." You know,
Yeah,
like, I don't have time for fun. Like, I've got 4 kids, I've got this, my wife's in med school, like, all sorts of the things, and I was like, I do not have time for fun, so I don't that's a ridiculous question, you know? And, so she, like, again, was very gentle with me and, like and had to, like, educate me very kindly, you know? Um, but show me the importance of fun
yeah,
and self-discovery, using fun as the tool to discover yourself. And so, another way that she phrased it was, um, where could you go or where could you be where you would feel peace? Like if you were at a place and you could come out of that thing and be totally at peace, where would it be? You know? And for me, like I knew it was the woods. Like I love being
yeah.
in the woods. I I don't know, maybe it's a trauma bonding thing from the army, but um
Just as
I
long as
love the
you're not
woods.
qualifying.
Right. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Sergeant Paquette. Um that dude qualified me for like 5 minutes one time, almost died. Um anyway, that
I
I
lost
lost my
it. I'm
train of thought.
sorry. You like going in the woods. It was your trauma
I love
bonding,
going to the
right?
woods. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Just not with Paquette.
yeah.
Um, just kidding.
Maybe
I
now.
love
Yeah,
maybe now. Yeah, yeah. Just not back then when I was a private. But I knew that it was going in the woods. Like I love being in the woods. I don't want to hunt anything. I don't want to
yeah,
do anything. I can just sit there and be at peace and feel, the disconnect from society and it brings peace. And so she was like, okay, well, that's the thing. Then you need to go do that at least 1 hour a week. Um, and at the
like, how do
time
I
I was
find a whole
thinking,
hour? Like,
I know at the time I was like, I cannot give myself an hour, you know, and think about how many hours in a week, man. I'm like, I
yeah,
can't give myself one of those
yeah,
and make it happen. And dude, we were busy, super busy. And an hour was nearly impossible to do, but I made myself do it.
Yeah.
and carved out the time. And dude, that's really where the journey started, man.
Yeah.
I started getting better.
I I think another big mindset change that comes to play is, helping you find that purpose or that reason is the question that I was asked. Okay, blank slate today. Money's not an object. Location's not an object. What is getting you out of bed today?
Yeah.
And you're like, wow. There's so I want to skydive. Okay,
Do it.
find a way to skydive.
Yep.
We'll do it. Or, yeah, I want to ride my bike across the country. Okay, start the planning. Figure it
Yep.
out and do it. It's okay. Like at some point, nothing else matters besides what you want or need. And
Right.
that's part of the healing part, right?
It absolutely is. And you have to come into that realization that yes, my wife is extremely important to me.
Yeah.
She is the most important person in my life. My kids are extremely important to me. They are second only to my wife. But in the hierarchy of things, and again, going back to my counselor, she's amazing. If you need a good counselor in Texas, her name is Audra Dahl. I'm gonna just throw her name out there. She's amazing. She's in Arlington.
Ching. No.
You're welcome. So, but the way she broke down the hierarchy for me, she said, okay, in terms of hierarchy, she said, what's the order of things from
Yeah.
God to to everything else? What's the order of things from your spirituality to everything else? I said, okay, well, it's God, my wife, my kids, the
The
church,
dog, the church. Yeah.
yeah, anything else, in whatever order. And I'm like, okay, that's solid. And she goes,
Where
no,
are you?
exactly. She goes, that's wrong. And I was truly confused. Like, what do you mean that's wrong? That's actually correct, And she was like, it's your spirituality. It's God, you, your wife, your kids, then everything else. And she was like, because if you leave yourself, if you continue to leave yourself out of that equation, out of that hierarchy, then you're just trying to pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
You're trying to give something to your wife that's not there. You're trying to give something to your kids that is depleted. You're giving everybody breadcrumbs because you're not taking care of you.
Yep. Yep. Um, my wife just showed me. Oh, she's gonna be so mad at me, but I can't remember names. There's this female pastor that she watches on YouTube that she sees, and she has this filling the cup up bit.
Oh yeah.
So she's like, my cup is always pouring out towards people, right? So it's facing everybody else, and as water is poured, it can't fill the cup up because the opening is not facing in the right direction. So there's no way to refill the cup once it's been given.
Yeah.
You
This is
sometimes
good.
have to take the cup and stand it up, let it become filled, and then the overflow is what you pour out to
Yeah.
other people, right?
Yep.
And that's a great stance and a great look at it. Like I can't be 100% for you if I'm not 100% for me.
Absolutely
And I'm
right.
not saying go spend all of your money and skydive every single day so that you can be with your wife and make her happy because that won't make her happy.
Right.
Right? It will
Right.
not. But every now and then you do have to take that. You have to take that refill
Yeah.
and finding what gets you up and drives you to get up. Like what gets you excited? Like, is it Christmas morning? Well, then all year you wait for Christmas morning, and that's what refills you. But um, once you find that thing, find a way to institute that into your purpose or your drive. Turn it into something, right?
Right. Yep.
Like, you've got a drive and purpose to get up to figure out why are we burying friends? Why are we burying
Right.
brothers? What do we have to do for somebody to not have to go through what I've been through? How do I
Right.
make that happen and help somebody? Right. So that's your drive. That one. What have you done? You've turned it into the brother's compass.
Right. Right.
Right. So
And that's the yeah.
you can find your drive and turn it into a full on purpose and goal. And then I think there's still days you probably don't want to get out of bed, but you have a much better likelihood of getting up every morning
Right.
with that on your mind, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And
And And one final piece there is, this is like almost like a direct quote from my wife is like, "Hey, you've served others. You spent your whole time serving other people and service to this country and other people. And while serving there, giving yourself day and night to everybody else. It's about time you take care of yourself."
Yeah. It's such a difficult thing for us to do.
Oh,
But to to piggyback off that, um,
yes.
um, the way that I think of that very thing is I have to I have to serve myself so that I can be of service to others.
Mhm.
And so it's not the idea of serving self sounds selfish, but it's not when you have that perspective of, hey, I have to do this. I have to serve myself and take care of me so that I can be of service to my wife, to my kids, to my family, to whoever it is that may need something from me. If it's going to be much easier for me to do that from a full place.
Right.
Um,
Right. Yeah. I think it's great to really sit and hash it out and like tell people it's okay. Like I think I think it was probably about 5 sessions of counseling before I finally started to go, You might have something here." You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
like,
And
I don't have time for
I
this.
think
Yeah.
it's pretty common, man. It's pretty common for guys to sit with a counselor once and go, "This ain't for me," or "This doesn't work," or whatever.
Yeah.
You must commit to the process. Like, if you truly don't connect with the counselor, just switch counselors, but commit to the process of counseling and sitting there going, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to the bottom of this and work my way through some of this stuff.
Yeah. Uh right. And I think, that ties to I think another piece is like, okay, so we talk about purpose or what drives you and all that stuff. I think the hardest thing that I've had to focus with and come up with is I think we're all very goal oriented people.
Right.
I don't know how to set a goal that's not a promotion, a school, uh, health, safety from a deployment. You know what I mean? Like I remember
Right.
stepping in every board. Okay, give me short term goals, long term goals. I want to go to the next NCO academy and be number one. I want to make sure my squad comes home safe from deployment, and I'd like to go be a jump master. Like, like
Right.
okay, what next? No, now I'm a civilian, and there's no in block. It's just a constant like dark space of matter stretching out across the universe of whatever the end is. So what's my
Right.
next goal? Like what's the
Yeah.
next thing? And I think that can be overwhelming as well, especially
Oh,
like old hitting like your midlife crisis cycle at the same time as like retiring out of the army, and then all this stuff falls on you, and then you're like, well, I'll just reach for the stars, but they keep like stretching away, and you're like, I don't know how to
right.
do this.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I think, it does into purpose, but I think in the broader scope of things, think of it like a legacy project, like um in the church world, we would call it vision. You got to have a vision. And the vision, it's like the biggest version of your purpose. Like it has to supersede your life. And what do what do I want my life to look like? But what do I want the lives of my children to look like? What do I want my impact on the universe to be? And if you kind of start there with this, I mean, your vision should be terrifying, right? It should be scary,
Yeah.
and it should not be able to be accomplished within your lifetime, right? So it's this astronomical thing that you just allow yourself to fully dream and go, man, if time wasn't an issue, if I would never die, then this is what I would do, and have this crazy, ridiculous vision that you're even maybe afraid to say out loud, and then you backwards plan, right?
Yeah.
You go back to ranger school and you backwards plan it and go, okay, well, if I was to break that down by centuries,
Yeah.
and then break it down to your tiny little lifetime, what can what can I accomplish in my 80, 90 years that I get, um, that works towards that vision, and dude, y- it's ridiculous the things that you can accomplish in a short lifetime that leave such a lasting impact on the world around you. And I think that's what this is all about. I mean, the purpose of life, and why do we keep going? Why do we keep fighting? What's it all about?
Yeah.
Um, that's that's an age old question, and it's up to you to decide.
Right.
Um, but man, when you start with a vision that big and you work your way backwards, it kind of brings it into perspective.
Yeah. And I think it's weird, I think guys like us are afraid to dream that big, right?
Yes,
And maybe it's
yes.
not just us, maybe it's just everybody out there. Everybody's afraid to dream big and you
You
know,
know, you know.
afraid of failure, right? So you make
That's
this
why they don't.
huge dream. You're like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be like Forrest Gump and just run until I don't feel like stop, and they're
Right.
afraid to do it.
I think that's what it boils down to, John. Is why are we afraid to dream? Because I've made videos on allowing yourself to dream before, and dude, those get so much hate. They get so much hate, and it's because these people are afraid to fail. And they're whether they say it or not, they're not going to come out and say I'm afraid to fail.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's what it is. You're afraid of failure. What if I fail? What if you don't?
What if you learn from that?
What
Oh,
what
oh,
if you gain some experience and you gain some wisdom from just trying?
yeah.
And dude, I met some young teenagers the other day. Like, I bought a four-wheeler from them, and they saw my tattoos, and they're like, "Were you Army?" And so that kind of led to a whole thing. And one kid was like, "I'm thinking about joining," um and I said, "Dude, just if you're truly thinking about it," I said, "Here's the perspective you need. Don't be laying on your deathbed one day when you're 70, 80, 90, thinking, I wonder what life would have been like if I would have done it. I wonder if I could have made it. I wonder if I could have become a ranger. I wonder if I could have become special forces or Delta or whatever." Like, don't live your life with regret. Just
Yeah.
try it.
Yeah.
And the worst you can say is, I tried and I learned something.
I think that's one of the best luxuries that I've finally come to grips with is I'm at a point now where I get to do that. I have the luxury, my bills are paid, everything's taken care of, and I got a great support network. And they're like, "Oh, you wanna try to make candles? Then make candles and sell them. Like, if that's what you
Right.
wanna do, do it." Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I make a melted wax ball and put a wick in it, and nobody wants to buy it. Okay, well,
No way.
I'm not a
Did,
candle maker.
do, you, do you do this?
No, no,
Oh, okay. I'm like, send me some candles, bro.
no, 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 no. That was just like the vision, the pop into my head of like, be a candle
Okay, I
maker.
got
I
you.
don't know.
I
Uh,
was ready for some candles, man.
nah, man. Mm-mm. Soap maybe, but not candles.
Yeah. Ooh, I love a good soap.
I like the scrubbing bubbles.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, just do it.
Just
It's
do it.
okay. And
Yep.
again, it goes back to that. If you wake up in the morning, what's going to drive you up out of bed? What's going to get you moving? What's going to get you to knock out the task you have to knock out today, but still find your peace, find your freedom almost.
Right. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you get one shot at this thing.
Yeah.
You truly get one try at making a life worth living. And that just that thought and that perspective terrifies me, and it drives me to do everything. Like, I am terrified of being on my deathbed going, I wonder what if.
Yeah.
I wonder what would have happened if I tried, or if I took that chance. And I'm just not going to live life that way. I'm going to,
Yeah.
I could have done that. I could have done that with moving to the UP. I could have just gone, what if I moved to the UP? Well, I don't know. I'm going to just try it and see what
Yeah.
happens. Like,
Send it.
if it sucks and we'll leave, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
And I think for military folks, that's the hardest thing in the world to realize, like, I'm not into a 4-year contract with an additional hidden 3 behind it. Like,
right.
I don't have to be in this position for 2 years to just deal with it. I'm gonna go give it a shot, and give it the old college try. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, I've got other options.
Right. And I think you said that in the last
Yeah.
episode about the ability to just fire quickly. And another ranger buddy came up and visited me over the weekend, and we were talking about that very thing, because he got out of battalion and he went to school and he became an accountant, and he went to one job and he was like, well, this sucks. I'm going to try a different firm. So he goes to a different accounting firm and he hated it there too. And he was like, well, maybe this isn't for me. So he quits and enrolls in law school, and now he's a lawyer,
Yeah.
So it's like, and he's not even, I think he just turned 40, or he's right up there with me,
Yeah.
So, um, there, you have time.
Yeah.
We keep believing that we're on this short little leash, and you have time to adjust fire. And like, if what you're doing sucks, change it. No one
Right.
else is going to change it.
Right. Right. Goes back to the take ownership.
Take
Right?
ownership.
Take accountability of yourself, and do what you got to do. I mean,
Yeah, and I'm trying not to soapbox this, man, because like I will get fired up so fast. I made a video the other day, and TikTok's real bad, man. People on TikTok, have all these smart guy comments and stuff, and and one person said something like, "Well, I can't do that because I got bills to pay," and I was just like, gently, but I said, "Man, we all got bills to pay.
Yeah.
We all have bills to pay. You can give it whatever excuse you want, but at the end of the day, it is an excuse, and you are responsible for your
and
life."
and let's peel back those bills. Are those bills you really need to be paying?
Right. How
Like,
many streaming subscriptions
yeah,
do you have,
yeah. Like, do you really need a food service delivered to your front door, or can you
Right.
just make a cheeseburger? You know what I
Do
mean?
you need an $800 car payment? Probably not.
Nope. Nope. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
y- Again, people look for the excuses. They look for the easy way out. Everybody wants an easy button.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's hard,
Yeah.
and you have to know that. Uh, and once you realize that, then I mean, sometimes you just gotta put the work in, right? I think we talked
Absolutely, man.
about that also last podcast, and I think that carries over perfectly into this. Like, healing process takes work. Shifting and changing gears takes work. Pursuing happiness and the life you want to make for yourself, it all takes work. But if you live today like no one else, you can live like no one else tomorrow.
Right. That's beautiful, man.
I
That's
stole
exactly
that
right.
from he'll come after me. The money guy.
Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, yeah, that's Ramsey.
Dude, we're plugging people left and right, man.
Yeah, I seriously, he's great.
Yeah.
But
Old Dave.
but old Dave, yeah, live today, uh, live like no one else today, so that you can live like no one else tomorrow.
Yeah. It's true, man. It's wise. And yeah, I think it applies across every area, accountability and purpose. Like, if
Yep,
you hold yourself accountable in every area of life, hold yourself accountable to your own healing, to whatever else you want to accomplish, to hold yourself accountable for the status of your family, hold yourself accountable to, just hold yourself accountable.
yeah,
And I know that, experiences and circumstances vary, and it's not all cookie cutter, and not everybody's situation is the same. I understand that. But um like, I'm thinking about Derek Jolly,
yeah.
like watching his journey. Man, he's gone through some unfair things.
But
Really unfair.
he has put the personal work in.
He's owned it, man. Like,
He has owned
he's going,
every step.
yeah. He's going, this is unfair and this is what has happened to me, but there's nothing I can do except for work on me. And
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing. He's becoming the very best version of himself. And it's beautiful to see, man. But look at how many years it's taken him. Like, look how much work he's put in. It is work, but he's
yeah,
been accountable to himself, and he's been driven with the purpose to be better.
yeah. Just phenomenal. Another phenomenal guy that's just taken on life by the
Yep.
horns and just, I'm gonna own it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It's absolutely great to see.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna have to contact him after this and get him
Tell
on the
him,
show.
yeah, he's on the show, and then he needs to be your next guest.
Done.
Absolutely, because his
I'm gonna reach
story,
out to
man,
him.
what a great dude. I mean, he was a hard charger when he was in the regiment, and then he got out, and for a hard stint there, he was going crazy, and then world just got thrown at him,
Yep.
full bore thrown at him, and he was able to battle through. And so far, battling hard and still working. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I love seeing it, man. I love I love seeing guys succeed. Um, and there's just something really special about seeing guys succeed through something very difficult, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, and I think you know, as veterans, I think one of the thing that kind of keeps guys away from seeking support from each other is the fact that we're afraid to be measured up against other veterans,
Yeah.
right? So I know I've been guilty of it before. My wife yells at me sometimes, but like, you know, a person who served is a person who served.
Right.
They have gone through their own trials and tribulations in whatever process it is for them. Whether they're, the general, the general of the army, or the chief of staff, or whoever, or day one private, they have their own trials and tribulations, and they have their own demons and scars that they have to deal with from their service. Uh, you can't judge by their own PF file. You can't judge by their process, right?
Right.
You you have to judge by the individual, and everybody. You got to step out of the comfort zone, and if you need it, find the help and take the ownership.
Yeah. Love that, man. That's great advice, dude. Well, I think we just about covered everything, man.
Yeah, I ran out of things to check off on my list, so
Right? Yeah, I was looking over here and it looks like we covered everything. But
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
again, it's just one of those somber moments that nobody wants to talk about in those pieces. Um, you know, an- too many are gone, and we nobody can pinpoint the answer. We're not going to solve it sitting here,
right. Yeah,
and
this is solely about awareness. Like we're just trying to share what has worked for us and what our experiences are. And hey, I found that holding myself accountable and then finding a purpose has helped me immensely.
yeah, absolutely. You know, find your true north
That's it, man.
and stay on the path. I don't care if the boar is chasing you through the woods, right?
That's right. That's right.
So,
Yep.
all right.
Well, dude, thanks again, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this again, even though we just did it. Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
No, appreciate it. Awesome. Anytime.
All right, brother. Well, we'll see you. I know we'll see you on a future episode, but
At some point. You gotta put some new faces on here. This mug can't be what brings people here. You know what I mean?
well, I think it's doing a great job so far.
So,
All right, brother. Well, I
All right.
appreciate you, man.
yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
That's a true story, cause I've been there. Been hanging on a limb with no care. Just doing my thing, screaming nowhere. Like, who cares? I was out doing my thing.